Minnesota defensive coordinator Tracy Claeys joins us now. Coach, you've been with Coach Kill all along here at all of his stops, so you've done this before.
Yes, sir.
What does it take to turn around a defense?
I think it's all about accepting roles. I mean, it really is. Every time we've taken over, there's a sense of entitlement by some better players, and people don't fit in the puzzle where they're supposed to fit and try to make too many plays. And so if you can convince those kids that they're important and if they do their role will be successful, then you got a chance. And we're going to go through it. I mean, I think we've started the first of the year giving up big plays because people try to do too much. And then once they learn to care about each other and accept the fact to be successful, you got to do your part and play hard, then you get things changed. As a coaching staff, though, you have to be willing to not play them if they don't do their job, no matter how good they are. And the greatest motivator during the season is playing time, because every kid wants to get out there and compete. And so you have to use that a little bit until they buy in.
Coach, you've been through this before. This is your first camp with the Minnesota defense. What are some of your main objectives for camp?
Well, up front is pass rush. You know, there is technique involved. In my opinion, more technique than run technique. A lot of times runs being tough. That's what it is. And so we've got to get a rush up front. And then number two is getting the kids to accept their roles. And you can take a young kid and maybe the whole package confuses him, but in nickel, he understands one job and can make you better. And then he's got to understand how important he is, that's the job he does. So we're defining roles right now. You can tell kids, I want you to be discouraged you're not playing more, but at the same time, accept your role and make us better.
Coach, I've heard the defense being described as you want to be disruptive,
yes,
being aggressive at the point of attack. Where's the balance, though, when you have some young players that may not be as comfortable with the system? How do you balance that being attacking?
Well, like I say, hopefully in the next 3 weeks we'll figure out what they're good at. I think Coach Kill, one of his best things is we're not going to just do what we do when we take over a job. You know, it's not fair to tell seniors you're rebuilding. So you find out what they can do, and then you get after it. And this first year, I mean, that's what the non-conference games are for. You know, we want to be ready for the Big Ten season. And as long as we're defining roles and getting better those first 4 games, you know, and ready for the conference, I think that's what you got to keep the focus on. Now, we'll play our tail ends off and try to win those games, but if we can go into the Big Ten game with those roles defined and our kids playing hard, we'll be all right.
Speaking of the Big Ten, as you study tape during the summer, how would you describe the offenses in the Big Ten?
There's we came from the MAC where most people were spread offense, and that the one thing about the Big Ten is it's about 50-50 really. So we're going to have to go, you know, 5 games with people slamming it right at us, and that's something that we haven't had to deal with lately. And then the other 5 is more the one-back running game in that. So it's physical downhill football, and if you don't stop it, you know, you're in trouble. The advantage I think that we've had is from studying the Big Ten is Michigan State runs a front that's similar to us. So how people have attacked that in the past, we've studied that and done our many game plans around how people have attacked Michigan State.
Coach, I know there are always goals that you set out there or benchmarks that you want to have as you go through this summer camp. When you in this summer camp, where do you want to be, and what are some of the things that you want to be very proficient at?
Well, the first thing, and I just believe this is third down defense. I mean, we did the hurry up today for second day in practice. That's pretty good. But I heard Buddy Ryan talk a long time ago, and if you play well on third down and don't give up the big plays and pressure the quarterback, you got a chance to be good. And so when you look at from last year, they really struggled in those situations. And so if we can shore that up, I feel good about being able to outnumber people in the box for the run and things like that. But the pass rush and the coverage part of it is what I want to get shored up.
Coach, we've spoken a lot here about philosophy. What about personnel? Who, particularly among some of the younger guys, has stood out?
Well, I think I've spent more time with the secondary because we have to have a couple young kids come through in the secondary. And Derek Wells has played very well for us for a true freshman and shown that he's got the ability. You know, now, like Coach says, can they handle the grind through two-a-day camp? It's hard for freshmen. And so once we get into the third week, we'll see how he does. But he's done well. Grayson Levine has done good with picking up the package, what we're doing. And we need a couple of those young guys there. And then, you know, up front, it's a work in progress. We recruit defensive linemen as to where they'll be in 2 years. You know, it's hard for us to get a finished product sometime in the defensive line. And so that's the toughest position, in my opinion, for a kid to play with what we recruit. And so if we have some young kids come through in the secondary, I'll feel pretty good about it.
Defensive coordinator Tracy Claeys. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, guys.